America, the finger. Now, to the subject of Trump and the magic bullet that is so magic it may never have come close to him. We had Wednesday, and it escaped notice because it is clear now that the media news organizations, the main ones in this country, are completely ignoring this story. When they touch it, they attribute the idea that Trump was hit by a bullet to Trump. They say he says he was hit by a bullet. They offer no contradictory evidence, nor any confirmatory evidence. They are avoiding this story out of terror of retribution. If the Republicans have worked the refs since about 1990, this is where it pays off. If Trump has threatened the lives of reporters since 2015, indirectly, stochastically, this is where it pays off. They are afraid to touch the story. And yet, Wednesday night, getting no publicity until yesterday, the head of the FBI, Christopher Wray, ironically answering questions in front of a House committee, answering the questions of Jim Jordan, gave away the ball game. As of right now, the FBI has no effing clue what Trump was hit by.
I think with respect to former President Trump, there's some question about whether or not it's a bullet or shrapnel that hit his ear. So it's conceivable, although as I sit here right now, I don't know whether that bullet, in addition to causing the grazing, could have also landed somewhere else. But I believe we've accounted for all of the shots in the cartridges.
Christopher Wray's statement was immediately attacked by former sorta Dr. Ronnie Jackson, the Trumpist psychopath from Texas, now serving in Congress because that's where we're keeping our crazy people these days, who decried what Wray said and said, I saw the wound. He is the only person outside of Trump who says that Trump was hit by a bullet. And yes, he saw the wound after he flew overnight to see Trump in New Jersey on Sunday. We have no idea. We have no idea what happened in the interim. We have no idea who treated Trump. We have no idea what he was treated for. I believe we've been told he has not received any stitches, and all we know is that he had something that looked like a communicator earpiece from the original Star Trek over his ear in public at the convention, and then suddenly he didn't even have a freaking Band-Aid. There is a conspiracy to cover this up. I went at length yesterday or the day before about why they would do such a thing. The idea that Trump was the victim of an assassination attempt is not disputed, and to you and I is a serious matter, no matter who the target might be, nor what we feel about Donald Trump. For us, it's not in question. For his own supporters, if he dived under a lectern to avoid a bullet or another bullet after one had grazed his ear, he is a hero who took a bullet for democracy. To them, if he dived under a lectern to avoid shrapnel, in Mr. Wray's words, debris, a piece of plastic, it has been speculated that something hit the sound equipment on stage with him, and that's what struck him in the ear. If he did that, he's a coward. To them. You and I see no difference whatsoever. You and I would do exactly what Trump did. There was a moment in there where we were all human beings looking at another human being about to get shot and killed and getting the F out of the way. You would do it. I would do it. There is no shame in it. To the Republicans, to the Trumpists who believe he is some sort of Christ-like figure, it must be a bullet or their entire belief system collapses. In fact, Ronnie Jackson, as it turns out, in another soundbite that had completely eluded me, and I apologize for this, Ronnie Jackson gave evidence, inadvertently, that it might not have been a bullet after all. He said, according to an interview with Nexstar from that convention nearly 2 weeks ago, his nephew suffered a minor injury after, quote, a bullet or a fragment of a bullet or something grazed his neck. He didn't notice it right away, but someone else in the crowd did, took him to the medical tent. It was a very minor injury, not a big deal. The nephew, according to Jackson, was sitting in the friends and family section when the shots rang out. This would have been roughly the area where the 4 Pittsburgh policemen were hit by shrapnel, plastic perhaps, maybe a piece of glass, and suffered minor injuries that did not really need medical attention. It's very simple. There were bullets fired. They did not hit Trump. He was hit by things that the bullets did hit. It's an assassination attempt. It, in their twisted minds, should count. Somehow it doesn't. Here is what Ronnie Jackson said now nearly 2 weeks ago.
It was your nephew, right?
That's right, my nephew. They'd wanted to go to a Trump rally for a while, so I got them tickets, and they went in. They put them in the friends and family section, which happened to be the worst section to be in. Pretty much either that or the people right directly behind the president. Those are two bad spots to be. But the trajectory of the bullets were coming right across the top of their heads and down into that section, unfortunately. And a bullet or a fragment of bullet or something grazed his neck, and he was bleeding a little bit from his neck. He didn't notice it right away, but someone else in the crowd did. Took him to the medical tent, and he was okay. He's fine. It was a very minor injury, not a big deal.
The Trump assassination attempt, cover-up conspiracy. I'm not looking for it on any of the Sunday talk shows. That's one of the reasons I did this podcast. A couple of other stories. The news from David Corn at Mother Jones.